able to do that because they already did it to begin with.
This shit is bugged out. Oh, these niggas look like fucking rats. Oh shit.
I think that's actually my made by Mr. Policy on the probably gonna get a better name than
oh fuck, I almost got stuck.
Yeah. Just say because we'll say that. I'm not gonna make people say it. That's actually what it is.
Oh, I'm fucking stuck.
And then in the future, we get to
There to die.
and that's what we call it. And it's gonna keep
What the fuck was that?
position where we get fined like every other year. Do the pilot entirely. So even though my version is like I still need we make a now zero mission. Measure prior line, maybe something to entirely. Actually, I think especially it's clearly something that cares about, and they want to keep pushing. And I'm very happy about that. Especially as you keep understand. You all know I would love to say that I'm surprised with
Can't even shoot him? Oh, he's dead.
I will say, you know, there was a lot of talk about how leaks kind of ruin things back during the Day podcast Bonanza. We did all those games coming. This one really does look slow because my favorite estimate
Could be inside a fucking volcano.
now I'm going to be impressed that that's one spell at a time. Probably going to do a shooting for a game. That is
Hey, bro. I don't got quick revive. Give me a second. I'm gonna try to get you. No. Oh, I got no armor. I got no armor. Thank you. Headshot. I got no more bullets on the other gun. Yeah, to die. What the fuck is that? A robot? Oh, yeah, a robot. Yeah, the ammo box.
They could easily do hey,
the black hole is so weird. Oh, fucking ammo. Ah, fuck it, I'm getting this next one. Oh, I can't even get it. Oh, shit. Hey, get the fuck out. Oh, here it is. Good. That was close. Fuck, get me out of here.
Max ammo.
I gotta get the fuck out of here. Oh my god. We got insta kill. Insta kill. What was that?
The entity is powerful, but was unaware of her true nature. When she arrived, she was no match for her.
I don't got sweet cola. That's crazy.
To resist.
This whole time I thought I had.
Tear them to pieces.
Party folks, welcome back to the Beach Channel. In today's video,
Oh, this fucking bridge is dangerous.
remake, which was adjusted after the patch.
Gotta go back this way.
Of the things to direct the teaser was the sticker for that showcase of the final thing we saw. And I think overall, people will be pretty big for this reveal, which is never considering it as a property.
Turns out they were right on
Well, this video
the
we're going to discuss the reveal of the legend of the Holy Profile for
Fuck these dogs. Oh, they coming in hard, bro. They giving us a timer and shit. That means they coming heavy. What is this? What to get your reward?
Okay, so this is the and it is a very that doesn't give us like this and it's a voiceover talking about and might be affinity we're seeing we're seeing it right there. Here, the voiceover
The fuck, look at that dragon. Damn, bro. What the fuck? Fuck. Oh. Yeah, you made that shit.
Piss off, you lava level losers.
The shield and sort of background forwards, and different people on my off, which is going to be fully 26. So, not the most that really just setting the stage for the story, which we all know, and of course, we get now, yeah, David Kobe would say, oh, here's that graphic.
Oh, fuck, bro. I'm gonna go all the way around and try to get you guys. Hold on. I don't know where I'm going. Motherfucker. I'm gonna get whoever I can get first, bro. My bad. Oh shit. I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. There's like a whole mountain over there. Yeah, I'm fucking stuck. Oh god. Shit, bounce.
It's more realistic than the big
Ooh, good look. Oh, I can't even move, bro. I can't even move. Oh, shit.
What are you standing around for?
Damn. I still got quick revive, though. Give me a second. I just gotta get through this fucking mountain and fucking zombies. Don't move, don't move. I'm trying, bro. I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. Got you. Oh, we gonna play this fucking tag shit. Pick you up, go down. Yo, there's one behind you, dog. Fuck. This is gonna be rough. Oh, they quit on us? Nigga quit? How the fuck we get up there? Shit. Yo, good game, bro. The last thing nobody was talking but me. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, WARKONE Entertainment, and this has been Zombies Kuwak Kuho. We lasted 21 rounds.
It starts preparing sensitive areas of heat after 60 seconds.
I'm gonna catch you in the next one.
Read every headline. Surrounded by the right people. All that just makes me.
Should we actually do another one? Ah, fuck, I don't want to do this map.
First, there was
It's a different map, bro.
It's not a dream, only a sleep number.
Zombies. Select. And they don't let me pick the fucking. Oh, are these the maps?
I was skeptical of leading into this. I said in my video a few months ago, like, hey, I would prefer that as someone who holds Ocarina of Time very near to the card.
Maps are weird.
Like, I hold Ocarina of Time is very high regard. I don't really know how much they can do to change that. I'm still interested in seeing what they can do to modernize it and just change things. For numerous other fans that got into it with the front of the line, I'm not saying that in the way of
I'll try this shit, fuck it.
open air and
Oh, okay, you can pick the map.
There were things in Ocarina of Time that not aged
I want that pen. Let's go to Mars, baby.
But I was skeptical that this film would actually want to do that because Ocarina of Time is so good, because it is something that's going to time. Is it even worth, play the fire, essentially? So before the reveal happened, I kind of settled on that. I think it's going to be pretty close to one-to-one remake. Obviously, huge the visual overall, but they've not added too much to it, changing things. I think they're going to just, and I think this is actually going to be a pretty significant reimagining of what Ocarina of Time is. Not in the way, again, that I think it's going to be open air, but I think we might see like a new concept. I think it might be a great concept because I see I will feel all these things I think are going to end up change the game to them. This is what becomes specifically, I don't want it to be EVD free. I don't want to do this. I would prefer that they make changes to the game instead. Obviously,
Oh shit, I went down that fast? Took a piss. Oh shit, this is crazy. I never played this map. It's like going on the moon. Marduk.
But seeing the graphics
Pretty sick. Oh, what is this shit? Oh, you can actually pick the perk. Fire, fire. What's this?
So there's your Starbucks. I feel like this might end up being just really cool that well. Maybe it's like a fan idea. Those situations where there's development and the game. It's big. I'm not saying gaming probably top 5.
I'm back off.
My face. Anything more specific there, but yeah, I'm really curious in making sense. If they want to
Pack a Punch is ready already? What the fuck? This must be like some arcade shit.
it's a great game. It's one of the best games.
Got everything in one room.
That you have done in the past decade of not creating people see the scope of this is, I think it's going to be a pretty full-blown thing. And it's feeling that way. And the way they announce it is like they're hyping it up. Either so it feels like it's a game that is out of it, right? The wild,
Let's go to that box, baby. Yeah, box it. Oh, this motherfucker got lucky. You a lucky plucky. Come on, bro. Let me get a chance. Grab it, bro. Oh my god, grab it, bro. Just throw it on the ground, bro. You fucking bugging. If you don't want it, just throw it on the ground. I'll take it. Oh, they need to get the fuck out of here, bro. I want this.
Especially with the movie coming out, I don't think they really hold a lot of offering us time to but because I think no matter how you pick for a game this year, if you use features like this, I think that's a year of disappointing. Now, the outside of that, you know, we're going to see it soon, so that's nice. But it's just a weird team to do for a game that, you know, that's their big quality game. This is the thing they're going to be putting forward their product. It's odd.
Pretty.
What the fuck is this? The nigga from the Lord of the Rings, bro. What's his name? Golem? Molem? I think it's Golem. Fuck. Little hyena ass motherfuckers.
That being said, I think it's very clear that the league is being very different because probably not I don't know if they'll do a separate Zelda Direct. Either way, from the say that there was from Rio, because we're going to see the they will open even more.
Bro, you want to make this shit harder, bro? Bugging. I didn't decline it.
State prediction and you know.
Just didn't say yes. Oh, this shit's crazy.
And we still didn't get a reputation until we're going to have to get this. I don't know how blow out of the game to release it. I think a few more months is necessary, in my opinion. You get a little too close, right? Like, going in, it's still a piece of paper that I don't know if you get it gets a little frustrating after overall, I am obviously very excited to I think they could have done it for but again, the flip side, we are going to see a back in the field. But let me hear your thoughts. What do you think of these imagining like some other games we talked about in this video? We'll look at any conversation down below. And also, when do you think you'll see? I think early some great things that do you think
So what do we stay in the same area the whole fucking time?
Choose your game and save. Get a Nintendo Switch system to free video games. Gaming culture and savings one time on
Having field away to take work from the end is the into the fight facilities. They just try to return work to the lab. So I'm even really people with rivals come together to celebrate their future, their 7 years of darkness. The same as the theater podcast mountain for breaking down on moving up with the sheriff involved in the next
What the fuck is this, bro?
How's it going, everybody? So obviously,
This guy sucks.
there have been just a ton of discussion surfacing online about this ownership, the difference between owning a console, what it's like to play games digitally on PC versus having a console, and of course, a very big conflict that ties all of this together, piracy. I didn't really want to have that conversation again because I've had it about 100 times in the last year, but since the topic is really hot, since many people are very interested and have experience on the matter, it's worth opening up that conversation yet again and recognize now just a little bit. I hope to get into pretty deep detail about this because there are multiple factions to this topic, so I'm going to hopefully try to bookmark things in a way where it kind of makes sense, where you can skim over certain topics if you're not interested. So for example, if you can just start things off in general, I want to talk, once again, about
You killing this bullshit, bro.
is across different platforms. Part of the reason I want to do this is because one of the biggest touch points that you're servicing, a time where these companies make a very anti-physical and, in my opinion, anti-consumer move, is a defense force that services and talks about how the entirety of the gaming industry is mostly digital now, and they would manipulate cherry-pick data and headlines to defend their case. And many of these headlines don't really paint the full picture. I feel like I've broken this down quite a few times in the Nintendo space, but it's also worth talking about on the Xbox and PlayStation space, which is totally different. Because as many of the reports are in the gaming community, more often than not, you will hear people talking about it. Gaming in general is more than 80% digital, oftentimes saying even close to 90% digital. And then later, you market that might have been a specific console, or it might be a case-by-case depending on the type of game that's being played. It's certified sports. There was a report by Square.com, which was the 50% where they had a headline that stated that just 50% of all PlayStation 5 software was purchased physically last quarter. Now that is a bit high, but it was really picking focus. Quarter, if you look at the entire fiscal year as a whole, it says 78% of software purchases were made digitally, up from 76% the previous year. Now keep in mind, a lot of times both depend on which games are being sold. So for example, a blockbuster title, something that will appeal to the Japanese audience, something that might appeal to an older crowd even, the more traditional millennial gamers, for the lack of a better phrasing, many times games like that will see a higher physical attachment rate than the rest of the industry, because a lot of us are postal. And I would argue, we are the ones who are having this conversation.
This guy's running his mouth, bro.
Why there is such a massive pushback against
This bullshit statistics.
because we are the ones who we are the ones who grew up putting games into our consoles. But even with that aside, the idea that the entirety of the PlayStation platform started off at 76% 2 years ago, that last fiscal year was 78%, shows that there's a clear shift towards digital games. And it's kind of obvious that the first generation was to stop all digital consoles right from the get-go. There were digital consoles last generation, but they were not at launch. This time, they started off specifically selling cheaper versions for digital only gaming. This is obviously valuable to the publishers because it cuts the cost of the disc drive, but the lower price also incentivizes people to go for digital. Because arguably, you're saving more money on the gamers who are not going to buy physical games than you are on not importing the disc drive. So personally, I think every digital-only console has made more money not because they had to cut off the disc drive, they made more money
because it guaranteed digital sales, which means no fees go into the production of physical media, nor do they go to the retailers. And since the games are typically being sold at the same price, or they're just offered a minimal discount maybe, and especially because you completely eliminate the chance for those gamers that have digital-only consoles to buy a game pre-owned, the corporations are more than making up that money for the cheaper console that they're selling. And that's not only the case for Sony, Nintendo, and Xbox. Yes, they make more money when digital games are sold, but the publishers that are making the games themselves, they also want digital futures. We see major companies like Square Enix limit the amount of physical copies that they're making available for the masses to purchase because when something is popular enough that people can't get a hold of the physical game, well, you expect
I only got like 50 bullets.
I know the gateway, and that's something that looks
What the fuck?
despite the fact that the disc had a much lower price on PlayStation than they do Nintendo version, and you did see happen for the Switch 2, where Square Enix became one of the largest advocates for the
This map is getting annoying, bro.
in a chat JP Games last year, Square Enix and Naoki Hamaguchi talked a bit about game key cards in order to defend
El
them.
rompecráneos.
Saying that he wants Switch developers to understand that game key cards can be for multiple platforms. It's not the best option, but an option nonetheless. And of course they would be saying this because the game key cards are significantly cheaper than having a full cartridge with the game on it. So they give you
Ain't better gun, bro.
the
It's bullshit.
game, but in actuality, it's nothing more than a hunk of plastic with
Fuck is
game
down
on
there?
it. Game key cards are a glorified code in the box. The one benefit that the game key card has that the code of the box doesn't is that
Trash
it
gun.
can sell your digital game. But the one
These
that
niggas got
the code of the box has that the
3
game key
armor,
card
bro.
doesn't is that with the code of the box, you do not have to have anything occupying the slot.
Oh, this one's even worse.
Both the code of the box and the game key card require an online connection when you first purchase the game to install it from the eShop, and both of them put you at the mercy of the Nintendo servers, as well as requiring you, the player, to fund the cost of the storage. Because unlike in the Switch 1 era, for example, the games are not saved entirely in the tricky game key card thing. So you're paying for the storage, which is a huge part of the cost saving done by the corporation, even though the price of the games are still going up. And that's the reason companies like Square Enix or Nintendo are championing the because they are effectively digital sales. In fact, Capcom themselves last year told us that the owners introduced controversial game key card titles as digital sales. So, for example, if you look at the data of Capcom and how many games were sold, and it says the percentage of digital versus physical split, the entirety of the Nintendo population that purchased that game all purchased it on a game key card or digitally, and both are counted by Capcom as digital sales. So, hypothetically, and obviously these are not official numbers, but let's say 1/3 of Capcom sales are on PC, and maybe another 15% are coming from the Nintendo space. Well, if it was the Nintendo space, it would be majority physical over there, but the physical games are being counted as digital now. But as far as the data is concerned, right there, just based off the PC sales and the Nintendo sales, you've got 50% for digital sales for Capcom. Then if you start to break it down, you realize that what initially looks like 7% is physical of the entirety of Capcom. In actuality, what happens is, in the console space, when games are sold both physically and digital, they can carry something that is not 7%, it's closer to 25%. So then it's totally digital, cheaper than 1 in every 10 people versus 1 in
Gun
every
is trash, bro. You got
and I'm sure if you were
25 bullets.
that here was like that. Perhaps it's the low prints, which push more to the digital. Perhaps they have additional content as part of the revenue. They're going back to revenue instead of
No
sales.
ammo. What the
In
fuck?
this hypothetical scenario, it largely skews the numbers and it confuses people. I mean, if a Capcom game has to get 50% of sales, but it's the remaining console, I want to know what the comparison is with the console, not including the guy who that can't buy this. If you're counting the PC guys, it will be 10% of the total sales. And if you're only looking at the level, then 8%.
You give me this shit again, bro? Oh my god.
Which is much more significant and much more complex discussion. So it tends to skew the data a little bit. Now, there were some reports early on, specifically from Ubisoft, when they were really trying to push Star Wars Outlaws as a good game.
God, fucking kidding me.
Really big on Nintendo fans to make that game a success in the long run. Where Ubisoft tried to push the narrative that the reason why they needed to use a game key card was to make sure that the game could fun well, because it's the cartridge was saying was too slow. And even though there might be some truth to that, the reality of Star Wars Outlaws is one of the largest games that you're going to find on the Nintendo Switch 2. And you have companies that are trying to use that same excuse that Ubisoft made for the last gen games that haven't come to the Switch 2 as providing these new games keycards, including Square Enix. With that being said, it is not uncommon for a game to run better when it's installed directly into the SSD or cylinder. It is far more true that it violates certain modes that makes it each person. Comparison to a cartridge but I do not trust Ubisoft enough to believe that the reason why they were adamant in a keycard was for that reason alone. I think it clearly could have worked on a cartridge with slightly slower speeds, but why would they spend that extra money to put it on a cartridge when they could just save that money and put it on a game keycard? And like I said, Star Wars Outlaws is one of the largest and most intense games that the Switch 2 is going to see over its entire generation, so there are only a few select games that are really going to be able to use that excuse. In fact, one of the biggest games of this year, 2026, was Resident Evil Requiem. In an interview with BGC, director Koji Nakanishi was asked about the write speeds and if that's why they decided to put the new Resident Evil game on a game keycard. Last year in September, the Nintendo Life article here was talking about that same Final Fantasy VII director who was releasing game keycards and saying they were necessary, citing that the load times from the cartridge are inferior to those that were on SSD, which was the same talking point that they stole from the Ubisoft people that had outlawed last year. So BGC went to Capcom and they're like, are you using game keycards because they're necessary?
Fuck is this, Bioshock?
Said that it's not a developer decision for them, it's more of a sales strategy decision. So Ubisoft, who's been trying to win people's favor over, trying to claim that the game key card is not being done because they are trying to save money, but it was done for performance. Square Enix, who has also been struggling in recent years, and that's a very good reason why they're pushing themselves up to the Nintendo Switch 2 platform starts fuck. Also decided to try to be like, hey, we're not doing the game key cards for saving money purposes, we're doing it because it's a necessary evil, we don't want to be doing it. And then Capcom, who's just been showing up
so bullshit, brother. Get us to buy these stupid key cards to get us accustomed to the digital.
Yeah, we're not doing this for development, it's just a sales strategy thing. You guys are going to buy it anyway. The only one here that is clearly telling the truth is the one that does not need to lie to get more sales. And mind you, all of these discussions started to happen
Well, fuck, bro.
Prices started to skyrocket, so I get it.
Yeah, fizz up. I'm gonna try to get them, but
imagine how much worse it's going to be.
I don't think so.
So I'm highlighting this really to stress just how important it is for these companies to sell their games digitally.
The fuck, bro? I'm trying to get them.
Make money. You can either increase the price of games, which they have been doing, or you can decrease the cost of selling that game, which is the easiest way to do so. Get rid of the physical media and reduce the production costs and reduce the retail costs. Now, the other problem to all of this is that many of these staple franchises do not sell the way that they used to. It's not the case for all of them. There are still many games that break through and have record-breaking numbers. But as a whole, the type of gaming that's being played and the type of revenue that's coming into the companies is very different now in comparison to last generation, and especially in comparison to Generation 5 and that. Many of these companies are running high. And it's because of a few things like subscriptions, free-to-play models, even doing stuff. That's what is taking away the attention of
These guns are stupid-ass guns. Oh, what am I doing?
But a big part of that digital revenue is not simply just game sales that are sold digitally. So, for example, on page 15 of Sony's recent package,
We don't even get fucking bothered.
31st, 2026, under sales where it says game and network services, they have it broken up for that digital software and add-on content to get
It's halfway through, though.
And if you scroll down to the bottom of page 16, it highlights that digital software and add-on content includes distribution of software types of things through the network. So anything you're purchasing off the PlayStation Network counts as a digital sale. And that's regardless of whether or not it can be purchased physically. So crucially, what that amounts to is that any time we see any form of data highlighting that Sony is like 80% or 85% digital in the last quarter or in the last year, the average person sees that highlight and the first thing they think to themselves is that only 15% of people that have an option to buy a game physically or digitally are actually buying it physically. It's the same case as with the Capcom situation, only in this case it's actually kind of worse because there's no PC numbers to prop it up. So now physical gamers are sitting here and they think they're the vocal minority of the PlayStation world because at the surface, when you look at the revenue that's coming in for digital sales, the assumption now is that when a game like Ghost of Yotei comes out or the next God of War title, the conclusion is made incorrectly that 85% of the people that are buying that game are actually buying it digitally. That is actually a conclusion that I think for plenty of time. In actuality, this digital revenue
Stupid fucking tools, bro.
the different purchases that are coming from the free-to-play title. So we get the cut of everything purchased Fortnite. So we get the cut from both the EAFC crowd, the Madden crowd, DLC for Colin, that's purchased digitally, and you get one through the PlayStation store, so we get the cut of that.
These niggas explode, bro. I didn't know that.
10%. That's not the data that I want to see, but that's the data that the corporations want you to see. And they want you to believe that 85% of the people are buying it digitally.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's the pattern distribution.
Better than that fucking rifle.
It's already digital, but it's definitely not 85% because that includes add-ons and additional purchasing. That might be closer to like 60%, even 70% digital. That's 30% of the sold project that has an option to buy a game either physically or digitally.
Not really.
Now they do break it down just a little bit.
So it's like a rifle shit.
Report that they recently did in a separate PDF for the supplemental information. Specifically on page 12, and this is where the
Yeah, they still giving us shitty guns, bro. I don't know what the fuck is going on with this mystery box.
And the amount of yen that they're making off the
They want you to grab it, bro.
physical software sales, its revenue first-party game software for PlayStation consoles, retailers, as well as their royalties that they get from third-party games sold. Now, this is critical to understand because it's that's coming in from physical software, and they use revenue to base these percentages. When a game is sold physically, it only counts the royalties from the third-party sales, not the total revenue of those third-party sales. That's the number that's coming into it. And obviously, the majority of software sales that are happening on the PlayStation space are third-party. This is not independent. So that is a massive portion of the revenue that's not being counted for the physical. Because obviously, it's not the revenue. Now, on the contrary, in the case of the digital software, it's the revenue from booking downloads of both first and third-party titles sold via the PlayStation Store. See, the largely digital sales. Then they will finally find where they favor digital than they actually give. So when somebody's looking at that, they're like, oh, there's way more revenue into Sony in the digital space versus the physical space, which is actually true, obviously. But the gap is not nearly as big as some of these numbers they get to people to actually read between the lines. And when you consider that 85% will be software digital now, the ratio is 95% of them. I like that. 85% digital, and the entirely last fiscal year was 78% digital. First, we can look at the bookings.
Look at the Michael Jackson video right now.
It's 379 billion. And of that, 32.1 million is first-party games. Highlighting just how big the third-party numbers are for PlayStation in comparison to Nintendo, for example, which is extremely higher for PlayStation, and it's a very, very reason why Nintendo is so very trying to push third-party sales because they want the little royalties. But in that table next to the full game software, it gets more like 10. And if you scroll down and you read number 10, software unit sales include software from PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. And like some bundled stuff, obviously. It's pretty straightforward.
Oh, shit.
And beyond that, you have that full game software digital download ratio. So you see that 85% that if a game's offered both physical and digital, 5% people that bought games, they
It's going down.
digitally instead of physically.
There's another one, I think.
Full game software digital download ratio is calculated by dividing PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 game software units sold via digital transactions by total full game software units. Do you notice what the problem is here? This includes every single digital-only game in the ratio. So every single game that is only available for sale digitally and does not have a physical version, which last I checked is a fraction of games on the Sony network, is included as part of this 85% that they are pushing out. And I could be wrong here, but I don't think the data gets any deeper than that. I think that is over-represented. I don't believe there's a ratio that highlights how many games are being sold physically when they're offered both physically and digitally. And that's offered in the Nintendo space. I'll get to Nintendo in a second. But basically, in the last fiscal year, 78% of Sony's software sales were digital in comparison to physical. this is true, but those include every single game that is only offered digitally. And there are a lot of games that are only offered digitally. So I don't know, of that 78%, if you take up actually 20%, 30%, I don't know how much of it is actually offered both physically and digitally anymore. But this ratio includes PlayStation 4 games, and many PlayStation 4 games aren't on shelf anymore. And they include games that have low prints. They get sold out quickly. But even if, like you're saying, maybe 20% of Sony digital systems are games that are only offered digitally, that means of the remaining 80% of those sales, there would be like 58 digital and 36 physical. So it would be that 22% that
That man got every perk.
Obviously, they're just made of numbers, but it's the pure idea that there are many hypothetical scenarios here that could imply that the physical market is much larger than we think that it is. The issue is that Sony can't find all these companies are making so much more money off digital downloads and add-on content and various subscriptions that they want to convince you that all of those digital movements and that marketing digitally is all the percentage of digital sales in comparison to physical sales when the game is offered both physically and digitally. And it's very misleading. As a physical buyer, I don't care if you're making more money digitally because some guy's playing a free-to-play game and buying all these extra stuff. Nor do I care if people are buying digital-only games when I'm trying to buy a game physically. What I do want to know is how many people are actually buying the game physically when it's both physically and digitally. If it is in actuality only 10%, the entirety of the console world, excluding the PC guy, right? Because why would I care about that as a console gamer? Then yeah, as a gamer, I feel like, I guess this is the reality. We're just going to move towards digital, and 90% of the gaming community already has. But now I'm seeing this massive backlash against Sony for their announcement. And the numbers just go back up. Now it doesn't make any sense. I must be tired of the technology towards digital for stuff like titles. But no, it seems very clear to me that when tentpole titles, major games, even in the Sony space, there is still a very young portion of their population that is buying those games physically when a major game is offered digital. And honestly, it makes a lot of sense to me because I'm thinking about even all the ball and gun gamers. Some of the best-selling games in Western markets every single month. Many of them, that's the only game they buy, and they don't buy it digitally. They go to the store and they're like, yeah, I'm grabbing the next FIFA, I'm grabbing the next Madden, I'm grabbing the next NBA. And it just seems very unlikely that that stereotype
I'm gonna pack a punch this motherfucker. Fuck it.
So at least for some, I don't know what the percentages of people that are buying the games that are is, but I know for certain it's not only 15%, and I would not be surprised if it's a lot closer to 50-50. And for goodness sake, if somebody has some data that proves otherwise, tell me and I will cut this entire portion out of the thing. Now look at the data is not coming from Malady and analytics. So it's very difficult to actually get a good idea of whether a game is purchase was digital versus physical. Like we know that some software that revenue for these financial events, they actually skew the numbers in a way to make it seem like more people are interested in buying digital than they are. But they don't. Their games are still being sold the majority digital. I think most numbers clearly indicate that it's. But for every game that's released physically and digitally, I doubt it's actually 1% of the whole game digital. That's kind of something that I mentioned in this video, where I was like, oh, 8 out of every 10 people that are buying a game for Sony are buying it digitally versus physically. Given the numbers that we're seeing here based off the revenue, I wouldn't be surprised if it's closer to like 6 of the people that are playing the games are buying it digitally versus physically, maybe even 7. But the reality is there's just so much and for any of the purchase that's made on the PlayStation Store, or like free-to-play and live service, whatever percentage of folks goes to some of the local counterparts of digital games, and it largely skews the revenue in favor of digital software sales. And I think that also highlights a very big reason why Sony has shifted the way it did over the last 5 years, where they did try to focus a lot more on live service games. Because they saw the money that was being made there, and they would not have to release games, basically, if you could get away with that. And you know, it all snowballs after that. At that point, they stopped paying all these companies to keep games exclusive to them. People like Square Enix, for example, and that's part of the reason why those guys start to look elsewhere, because they're like, we're not selling it up on Sony, because they don't want to buy it. And Sony's thinking of putting up live service, so they're not going to give us the money, so we might as well go and try to court Nintendo. But we don't want to pay for their expensive content, so we want a key card out to be able to buy, so that we can spend less to get these games out
Yeah,
there.
should have got that Molotov.
That means that whether it's 80%, 60%, or even down to 55%, there is clearly a massive portion of the PlayStation market that
Oh, fuck, I just pack up and said shit.
largest markets. As much of that is space, where
I don't even get to see how strong it was.
and the Xbox space, which is third, 20% of the size of what the Sony market is in the Western markets, who are either buying their games most likely digital or taking rentals.
What do you need to pull over? After a day of pulling over, there's a window. Where there's a window, there's a window.
Yo, come get me, bro. Fuck. I'm out of here, bro. Fuck this.
That's perfect.
Oh my god, I was about to leave, bro.
Tasty. Is it Mr.
And more strictly for the mobile games, and that results in an overwhelming majority of the gaming industry that is actually buying games digital versus physical on day one, when they are
What the fuck did I just turn into? Medusa?
Be in the Nintendo space, at least for now. But to really highlight something very important,
Bro, why you shooting me, bro?
Nintendo fans have immensely been pushing the idea that Nintendo is mostly digital now.
Bro, this game is crazy, bro.
The games are selling out, and that the game key cards are not even an issue because they're moving towards digital anyway.
Now they don't want to fucking come out because I'm Medusa.
And now, in the last 3 days, or 2 days ago, because Sony decided to say that they're playing digital. Now, and I'm glad they are because I want people to fully understand that Nintendo is a physical first company. And I'm going to break down the financials again, like I've done in previous videos, to highlight just how much more they favor physical games. And critically, a very big reason why I'm doing this as well is because I want people to remember these breakdowns that kind of talk about which games sold the best on which console. Your Amazon bestsellers, your Famitsu charts, all that fun stuff where you're looking at physical games in the breakdown of the eBay charts, for example, and everybody starts assuming that those games except for Nintendo, well, blatantly false, as we see it here, because the majority of the gaming industry is not buying physical games. It's only the majority of Nintendo that does. So the only thing that can be concluded from all that is that Nintendo gamers are buying more physical games than Sony gamers are. But if Nintendo's physical makeup is like 66% of a game, and Sony's physical makeup is like 25% of a game, that means whatever number you see for Sony, they have to multiply it by 4 to get the actual number.
Damn, Iron Man joined the party? Shit.
I realize that's probably more math than something for some people to think about. Well, actually, we're just looking to window. But the conclusion here is that physical charts are meaningless if you don't have actual data highlighting how many digital games were sold for each console. The only thing digital charts help with is Nintendo. A very good reason why Nintendo looks as good as it does in Japan is because Famitsu charts do not include digital sales. And likewise, a very big reason why Nintendo does not include digital sales numbers when they're talking about Circana charts in the States, for example, is because right now when you compare the Nintendo game sales with the sales of games that are being placed in Xbox, there's typically a bit of that says either that the digital sales are projected with their yellow, or that the digital sales are not included in the charts. Find that data. Because if Nintendo were to provide that data and we actually found out just how many games are actually being sold for their physical exchange then it would look a lot worse than Nintendo in Western markets. At least now people can just kind of shrug and be like, yeah, they only rank 7th place, but it's because digital sales. Where in reality, most of Nintendo sales anyways are the physical content that are being sold at retailers. And I'm going to highlight that right now by jumping back into Nintendo's financial reports. Again, I've done this in previous videos too. In Nintendo's most recent financial report that was released back in May, on page 25, it has the portions of software sales over the last fiscal year. Now, similar to Sony, when people look at this on the surface, they're just going to see the
What the fuck?
the other 50%.
That's it? Yo, good game, bro.
It's like 55% or 50%. And
Good game.
the term that you look at in favor of digital versus physical. So in their mind,